Hello and welcome to today's much awaited interview. We have with us Mr. Radhakrishnan Pillai. He is the head of department of the Chanakya education in Mumbai University. He is a business consultant and mentor to many business entrepreneurs. He is the best-selling author of all times of the Chanakya series, an author of 11 books, his latest book being Chanakya in the Classroom. I had attended one of his workshops, which was an amazing opportunity to meet him. The workshop being how to write a best-selling book and make it as a bestseller. How to write a book and make it as a bestseller. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kashish, for making this interview happen. I'm glad that you're finding value in this interview.
Absolutely, sir. So, because you have provided so much of value to young entrepreneurs, to young budding entrepreneurs, to students, to existing business people. Thank you very much for taking out time and being with us.
It's an honor. It's an honor.
So, sir, as we already know, you have the best-selling books. We go to crosswords, we find it always in the best-selling series. How do you manage to make it a bestseller all the time? What is it that magic wand within you that makes it happen?
So I would say there are two things. One is writing the book and making it a bestseller. I don't think writing a book is a major problem. A lot of us are well educated. We have a concept, we have an idea, we can write a book. But the second part is the most interesting, how to make it a bestseller.
Yes.
And I say there are three reasons for why all my books become bestsellers. 11 books, all of them bestsellers. The first reason is that it's God's grace.
Yes.
So you may do a lot of thinking, strategy and all those things, but the reality is that it's like every book churning out to be a bestseller, right from the first book, Corporate Chanakya. And it's been like God's grace, the first one. So Allah Mehraban to Gada Pehlan. So I'm not a trained writer.
That's very humble of you.
The second reason is that you have to actually work as a team.
Yes.
It is not that you've written a book and it becomes a bestseller. So I actually have various teams that I work with. The first one is a publisher. I got 5 publishers and they're amazing. So you have to work with them to actually make sure the books are distributed well. It reaches, as you say, the crossroads, to the airports, to the railway station, and some pirated copy on the road also. So that's partnership with the right people, the right publishers. So first is God's grace, second is the right teamwork. The third one, which is most important, is that you should have a strategy around it. So I have a lot of strategies, right from how the book should be made as a manual, the manuscript, to the cover page, to the right pricing, to the right distribution. And one of the reasons I've been fortunate is that the language that I use in all the books are very simple. So even though I've written management books, Kashish, it has always been in a language that even a child or a grandfather can understand it. So I think these are all mixed matches, because of which the books do very well.
That's so brilliant. So, but what prompted you to go on a journey of being an author?
Yeah.
That's I think our viewers would really love to know.
So I'm not a person who wanted to be an author.
Okay.
So I've been actually among the few rare people who was approached by a publisher to write a book.
Wow, that's
right?
interesting.
Yeah. So right from the first book to the 11th book, which is in the market, and 2 more books which I've written, not yet in the market. So 13 books in all. All of them have been the dream of the publisher.
Wow.
Of course, I have a dream to write a book, but the thing is that they approached me. So I remember Jayco approaching me and said, "Can you write a book for us?" So I'm a Chanakya fan, follower, student, and since I did my PhD in Arthashastra, so they said, you speak very well, you have a different concept of Chanakya. So they said, why don't you write on Chanakya? I tried it with Corporate Chanakya and became a national bestseller. Internationally, I have traveled 15 countries just because of the book Corporate Chanakya. I teach in universities across the globe. But the thing is that after one publisher, the same publisher said, we want you to write more books. Another publisher came in, then third publisher, written with 5 publishers. Jayco, Rupa, they are Indian publishers. Then we have Crosswords Publishing Division, Right Place, who have actually published this book. Then I have Random Penguin Book House, which are the world's #1 book publishers, world's #1. And Puffin Books, which are the children's wing of Penguin Random Book House, the world's #1 in children's book.
That's amazing.
So all of them approached me.
That's amazing.
And I always say yes. मैं किसी को ना नहीं बोलता.
So now you know whom to approach. Which person will not tell you no? You know whom to approach.
yeah. So I'm always believing in open door policy.
So sir, tell me, if someone wants to begin writing a book, there are many hindrances which people face internally externally तो होते ही हैं. What do you think is the best tip you could give these budding authors to write a book?
Yeah. So I think if you want to write a book, 50% of the problem is already solved. Because all of us know how to write.
Okay.
The school education system teaches us. Now the thing is that writing a book is something very different than just writing. So writing is a lot about creativity. It's about innovation. It's about your own experiences. So when you write, you are original. So I always said never do cut copy paste. That's not ethically right, and nobody will appreciate you in the long term.
True.
Whatever you want to write, be original. But then writing a book is a very big thing because you have to write at least 50,000 words, and not everybody knows how to write 50,000 words on day one. So I said take baby steps. So start writing small articles or blogs. Start writing larger articles. Maybe start with 500 words, to what we generally call as an essay. An article which could be 1,000 to 2,000 words. Once you get a hang of it, then it becomes easier for you to make it big. So I would say one of the very important things is to start small and think big. So start writing every day. I think one of the simplest tips I can do is every day before you sleep, I think take a pen and paper, or if you are comfortable on a laptop or a mobile, start keying in something, your day's experience. So you don't have to get it perfect day one. When you start doing it, in 30 days, maybe you have 30 pages. And that's a good start. So I think
that's amazing.
And don't worry about grammatical errors and all those in the beginning. Who's going to read, man? Forget it. But I'm saying that give yourself the inner confidence because you have to be convinced about your own subject, your topic, and believe me, a book will happen by its own.
That's amazing. So the tip is just begin baby steps, like Sir rightfully said. Coming to our next question, which is very important. So you have lived a life full, which is of rich experiences. So are there any tips which you would love to share with our young audiences of your life, of the do's and the don'ts, so that they should incorporate them in their life and not stumble along the way?
Sure. So let me tell you, when I was young, when I became an entrepreneur, I made a wish list.
Wow, that's interesting.
So everybody should have a wish list. So you make it, some people call it bucket list.
Yes.
So and that time, don't be a miser. So अगर बनना है तो number one है सब wish करने में क्या जाता है. So I remember this that when I was in my 20s, when I became an entrepreneur myself, I started writing what are my wish lists. So there were some 7 wish lists, and it was not just about being an entrepreneur. I said okay, I want to be an entrepreneur where I'll be connected globally. I want to make it like number 1 in that particular field. Then I said entrepreneur should not be only a businessman, he should be highly educated. Then I said okay, I want to do a PhD. Then I said okay, somebody would like to listen to my story, so why don't you write a book? Then I wrote and I don't want to just write a book, but it should be the most well-read book, and I want to write a best-selling book. Then I said okay, I want to actually guide people on how to do business. Imagine I've not even started a business, but the dreams are so big that I will start a business, make it big, I will be very qualified, I'll write a book and people will get guided by my life. But you'll be surprised. A few years ago, I was cleaning up my cupboard and I saw that wish list.
Wow.
And believe me, all of them are tick.
Wow, that's amazing. Now that is what we call as dreams do come true.
Yeah,
like he rightfully said, बनना है तो number 1 बनना है और बड़े ख्वाब सोचो, छोटे ख्वाब देख के मतलब क्या. That's amazing, sir.
But also you have to work hard.
Absolutely, you cannot just dream and go eat a sandwich.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is tip number 1. What about the other 2 tips, sir?
Other tip is that, my Gurudev Swami Chinmayananji used to tell very nicely, plan out your work and work out your plan.
Okay, very nice.
That's on the paper, And a lot of people get rigid when they make a plan. But what happens is that it's good to have a plan, but as you keep working on the plan, you start realizing a lot of things change.
Yes.
A lot of things that you look at theoretically on paper may not be practically relevant. So that's where the second tip is you have to actually move with what is the challenges on the way and be practical about it. For example, I remember when I started my business, I said, I want to start a business in spiritual tourism. But I remember it became a global business, so it was not bad. But I said, no, this is my target audience. But then I said, okay, can you expand it? And today it is not just spiritual tourism, it's cultural tourism.
Wow.
So it's about food industry. So we work actually teaching people how to make Indian food. People come from abroad to learn food. We take them into dance, architecture. So what's very important is that an entrepreneur should never get rigid. He should have big dreams but go with the flow.
That's brilliant. अपने ख्वाब मत sacrifice करो. Modify and remodify your plans, but don't give up on your goals. Let the goal remain intact and keep on changing the plan according to the available situation and the problems at hand. Don't give up. That's brilliant, sir. Thank you so much. And the third tip?
Third tip is keep reading and studying lifelong.
Okay.
See, what happens is that I have seen, especially a lot of youngsters in schools and colleges, they want to do an MBA. Nothing wrong, or they want to become a graduate or a postgraduate. But the moment that they complete their formal education, their education stops. It's a pain for me that 93% of books sold in India are only textbooks. So that means we don't read beyond academics. So what I want to say is that entrepreneurs should actually read to lead. Because every entrepreneur is a leader in her or own space. If you don't read, you will limit yourself. So I'm not saying that you don't read. I think most of us read newspapers, we read some magazines, but I would request all of you to read quality research work and go and listen to people. So what's very important is that if you want to evolve, and especially today's business is all disruption, by the time you made a good business plan and succeeded, somebody else will take over. So it's very important to keep learning, studying. I am still a student. In fact, formally after my PhD, and I'm guiding PhD students, I'm actually doing my DLit in law.
Okay.
So I'm studying law at this age when actually it doesn't matter to me qualification wise, but I said no, let me keep learning another subject. So if you're a learner, you're actually a leader.
Wow, that's a beautiful statement. If you're a learner, you're actually a leader. So learning never stops, and in fact it should never stop if you want to grow in life. That's amazing. You're getting these pearls of wisdom directly from the man himself. So that's brilliant. So sir, thank you very much. Is this something that you would really love to share with the audience? Something that you've never ever shared before? Perhaps something like a street smart strategy to take with them lifelong.
Okay. So number one, my life is an open book, so there is no secret around it. But let me tell you one thing. What Radhakrishnan Pillai is, not many people understand. So as you always say, you are a very smiling person, nice person, very approachable, humble, simple. Yes, that's true. Because as our Sanskrit, one of those great sayings, Subhashita says, Vidya dadate vinayam. If you're a knowledgeable person, you automatically become humble. But at the same time, I'm a person who practices Chanakya.
Yes.
You can't fool me.
Yes.
So, one of my colleagues was asking me in the office, saying that, you say yes to everybody, but don't you think people take you for granted? So that they can't take me for granted.
Yeah.
Because I know how to read people.
That's enough.
So one of the very important things to do in life is that be open-minded, but be smart also. Because if you're getting fooled, then you're not understood Chanakya. And I'm the Chanakya man.
Wow, that's amazing. Keep the goodness alive. Be open-minded, but do not be taken for a ride. I think that's a very important tip for all. हम जब कहते हैं ना कि अच्छे लोगों के साथ बुरा क्यों होता है, that is because वो अपनी अच्छाई इतना ज़्यादा दिखा देते हैं कि लोग उनका फ़ायदा उठा देते हैं. So don't be taken for granted. That's a brilliant piece of advice. Thank you so much, sir. That was amazing. Thank you very much.
Thanks for this interview.
Pause. So, sir, is there any practical advice which you believe that the youngsters should have, the youth should have, which they are not really having? They are actually living in a bubble. They believe that academics or education is the goal, but which is actually not, because like you said, learning never stops. So is there something that you would really like to tell our audience?
So see, in India especially, our generation of youngsters, boys and girls, are not getting enough guidance from their parents. And I won't blame them, because this generation is more educated, more informed to what's happening than their parents' generation. Now the challenge here is that I find a big generation gap. The parents not able to guide the students what to do beyond education. Well, the careers are not the way our parents had a career. Take up a job and then you are done for life. You may get your first job, but today you cannot maintain your job just by your education qualification. So I would say, as you rightly pointed out, Kashish, is that keep learning deep and wide, study, attend seminars. All this is fine, but the thing is that your parents will never understand your world, because it's changing so fast, but they will be concerned about you. So the secret here is that respect the parents, but don't listen to them fully. No, I'm not telling you not to listen to your parents, but the whole idea is that they cannot guide you beyond a particular point. Parents are very concerned about the children. They want the safety and security. Take that. But the thing is that there's a world that is beyond what your parents can guide you. So maybe you should guide your parents how to go to the new world. And that's where we call a win-win situation.
That's so brilliant, sir. Thank you so much. I think a lot of our youth needs to listen to this, because the conventional education system pushes us either into the doctorate line or the engineer, lawyers, accountants. But there is something which other kids are doing, and they are very successful at it.
Yes.
There is nobody to teach us how to be an author, how to be a successful author. There is no one to teach us how to be a successful entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I think the education system needs to incorporate this.
It's already being done,
Yes.
but India being a big country.
Yes.
So let me just tell you that I teach at IIT Bombay.
Yes.
I remember for many years ago there was something called as placement cell.
Yes.
That's where the students would get into corporates, and most of the MBA schools or engineering colleges has a placement school. But what's very interesting is that in the last few years, I was in IIM Ahmedabad, IIT Bombay, there is no placement cell. It's been converted into E-cell. It's called entrepreneur cell.
Yes.
So that means it's changing, but it's not changed everywhere. But I'm sure the change is going to be spreading across India. So yours is a generation which actually has to think not about placements and jobs, but actually creating jobs.
That's amazing. Sir, is there a motivational quote or an inspirational quote that comes to your mind which you think everybody could really apply and make use of it, so that when they're really low in their lives, this thought could resonate with them and help them rise?
Sure. Every day get up and get going.
Okay.
That's what I do every single day. There will be ups and downs. There will be a lot of emotional traumas you must have gone through, maybe personal level or professional level. But every day, I just get up in the morning, get ready and get out. Because if you stick with the problem, the mind only becomes negative and negative and negative. I'm not here to tell you that, be positive, but apart from being positive, be active and be energetic. Let me tell you, a person who is positive, energetic, there is no problem he can't solve or she can't solve. So get up and get going every single day, 365 days a year, and that's what makes you a leader.
That's amazing. Is there any quote of Chanakya that comes to your mind which portrays this?
Absolutely. Never fight a battle alone. Take a friend along.
Wow.
So whenever you have a problem, the biggest thing that happens in depression is that you want to solve it yourself. Talk to a friend, pick up a phone, go and meet. Go to a cafe, go on a garden. It's very important to realize that Chanakya suggested that even wars are not between two people, it's between two groups of people. So if you have a problem, call a mentor, call a guide, call a friend, maybe your mother, grandparents also. But when you have a problem, you fight it alone. But when you have three brains helping you, three ideas helping you, you solve it faster and better. Never fight a battle alone, Chanakya said. Take a friend along. If possible, take many friends along.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, sir. So, this book, Chanakya in the Classroom, your latest book, what does this book talk about?
Wow, this is one of my favorite books. Again, the publishers told me about this concept. Chanakya in the Classroom. As the book says, it is for teachers and students.
Wow.
It helps students to become better students, and helps teachers to become better teachers.
Wow.
And it's already at the bestseller number 3 and the very first week of its launch. All India. So what's this book about? In short, it's actually a story about a girl called Sania who is right out of college, and she is a journalist. She actually is working for one of the biggest daily economic newspapers of the country, and she goes to interview two friends who are entrepreneurs, and interestingly that's Amar and Deep, who actually have become entrepreneurs and start a company called as Sports Talk. And then she realizes the same people who are in our class have become one of the biggest successful entrepreneurs of this particular country. And in the interview, she asked, like, how are you interviewing me? What is your secret of success? And the classmates told, actually, we were applying Chanakya when we were students in college.
Wow.
Sanya did not know that. So Amar and Deep, these two friends, actually tell how they use Chanakya strategy being students. And you'll be surprised, the whole book talks about that Chanakya strategy, who gave us about the best education system in the world 2,400 years ago, and how it can be applied in today's generation. So this is an amazing book which has got topics like how to concentrate, that's a major thing, how to concentrate during exams, Anvikshiki, the science of thinking, self-discipline, how to make a timetable, how to prepare for exams, and how to prepare for life. So that's Chanakya in the Classroom.
Go and get your copy today itself if you really want to succeed. Be it a student, even if I am not a student in a college, I think I would be needing this book.
Maybe you're a teacher in a college, so
Absolutely.
do that.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, sir. It was a pleasure being
here.
Thank you, God bless you.
Thank
you so much.
Thank you.
Entrepreneurs, he mentors, that will be cut, pause it. And